We should be recording now. Ms. Jacqueline, with your consent, we are recording this interview. And of course, like every interview starts, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Alrighty. So about me, I work at Teleco Veterans Upperbound Program, and I help out veterans pursue higher education. I've been working with them over plus a year, almost a year and almost 6 months, I would say, almost completing 2 years. And I've learned a lot on the job working with Angie. I have to work with a partner. So with her, we work with each other for AM and PM classes. And we try to be flexible with our students, even though maybe they've already been in that sector of, going to school, or maybe they haven't. So we, show them that light way of, like, there's always like light at the end of the tunnel, and you can always succeed with us. And so opening opportunities, and I really enjoy what I do with my job. um, it's rewarding, it feels good. And it's nice to know that I can help out the community, because I know in the LA County, there are some places that you can find resources, and there's some others that you can't, or some that you have to pay out of pocket. And unfortunately, sometimes when you are a student that's budgeting just to know, like, hey, this $20, am I going to spend it on lunch, or am I going to use it for the bus, or am I going to use it to put gas in my car? So the struggle, I know the struggle, so I've been there, I've done that. And I just want to give back to the community, so that's who I am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, Jackie, let me ask you a question. On the first one here, and your job as academic advisor, you're talking about maintained and updated student files. Can you tell me a little bit about how you documented and what tell me more about documentation.
Yeah, sure thing. So like the process, the way we do it, we have to have an application. Before pandemic, we still currently do it still online, but the way we do it is we have them get an application. They're interested, making sure that they put their email, their address, especially their current address, so that I can contact them, put their current cell phone or their home number, and put on and make sure they state that they are either a citizen, or maybe they already have a bachelor's. So I know where to go with that, as well as learning if they have uh, how many years or days they've done active service, or maybe they are a reservist. So just learning about them, as well as asking them personal questions about what their goal is being in our program, and what do they want to do, whether it be learning skills, whether they're practicing typing, or whether it be learning a foreign language maybe, or even just practicing on their grammar, or even just learning how to learning how to subtract or add, or just learning the fundamentals of math. So that's how we do it in at our program.
Okay, a quick follow-up. Just
Mhm.
real quick question. How many people were on your caseload?
How many? I would say about 12, around 12
Okay.
to 20.
Okay, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Thomas.
Thank you. So what I got from what you told me is that you have a long process to intake per veteran, right? And they're all veterans in your program, correct?
Yes.
I want you to tell me exactly what the process is from the moment you intake them
Yeah.
till you're finished with your program, and about how long does your program last. Basically asking you because I know that you have high turnover in your program, like every semester is only so long.
Yeah.
So tell me exactly what it takes to get into your program and what you do to make sure that they complete your program successfully.
Sure thing. Okay, so the way our program works is we have an eligibility criteria, making sure that the student is either first or low income generation student, has an on a doesn't have a dishonorable discharge. They can have the other four, like other or medical or general, or just honorable discharge. Um, and then after that, the next one is as long as they did the minimum of 30 days of being a reservist, or did a 30 days of active service. So beyond that, and then I can help them out, as long as they are interested in learning the skills, and all they have to do is pretty much do an application. And then that application should take no longer than 10 minutes, I would say, just to make sure, everything's accurate and you've answered all the questions on the application. Then we move on to having a intake where I assess of what are the needs what your necessities you need. Maybe it could be medical. Maybe you don't. Maybe you have a VA card. Maybe it could be maybe housing. It could also be um, social welfare. Probably maybe you have children. So just just noting those things down, and then then eventually I just refer them out to. Then after that we do a another questionnaire on what education you have had so far, and then if maybe you have some college, then you let me know like what school you went to, or maybe you attended, or you're planning on going back, so then we know where to go and what steps to take. Then I ask you personal questions about the program, and then overall I sum it up on a counseling log, and I ask them, so these are the things we went over, and is this correct? And then they say, yes, that is.
How often do you contact them during your semester? Like
Constantly.
phone calls. Talk to me about that.
So constantly. So every week we make sure we text them or we call them, whether it be AM or PM students, reminding them that classes are, every week, and we need to come to class, attend. It's just to benefit them in the long run, to explore that exploration of themselves, of like what to find in themselves within the 6 weeks. I know it's 6 weeks is very short, but you can do a lot within 6 weeks, and you can learn about yourself for sure, as long as you are consistent and you're trying your best. Even if you're taking one class, I still call you and I still text you. I even let them know, hey, if you can tell me in advance, like, hey, I have a doctor's appointment, and I note that down in the counseling log, and then that very same day I let them know, hey, don't forget that we have classes. You have classes either morning or evening, and then let them know, like, don't forget to come again. So keeping that consistent, rapport with my students is really, really important to me.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Let me ask you this. I see that you led workshops. Can you tell me a little bit about that? How many people were in these workshops? How did you get them to come to the workshops? What were you talking about? And how did your supervisor or manager define success?
Sure thing, yeah. So the most I've had is probably 7 or 10, give or take, depending on like what workshop it is. So the most influx one is usually the LinkedIn one, with the with like career events. So they're really interested in their careers, and I'm really proud of them for knowing like, hey, the career is gonna catapult me to where I need to go. So they the way we do that is just by promoting it. I teach them about their careers. The best investment is in yourself. Also, too, as well, like knowing what type of careers are maybe gonna open up more options for yourself. Because I mean, there's some students that may feel like, hey, I have a business degree and like I know I have a lot of options, but where do I go? So then I let them know, like, hey, you can shadow them, especially in the workshop. I let them know, like, not just only can you feel you're maybe like, oh, I only got business and all I have is accounting and maybe accounting accounting skills. If you feel like you want to get into management, you can definitely shadow someone. There's no harm in like actually connecting with people on LinkedIn and in person, as well as I found that very important to connect with people personally on a personal level, especially the career events that are held at either colleges or maybe at an expo. It just helps out for you to know how to be aware of your surroundings, and at the same time how to interact with others when especially you're asking about maybe employment or just even how their day is doing. And most of the time that I've heard, it's not what you know, it's who you know. So building that little folder or file for who you know in your records is really important. Another success was learning about your academic exploration. So what colleges to go to. I had a few students in that workshop that were very interested and asked so many questions, and they learned about Calvet. They learned about how schools work, and if you can apply to financial aid. Maybe if you don't have the GI Bill, and if you do have the GI Bill, you want to be wise in what classes you need to take, so then you can just completely finish, and make sure you follow the criteria of like the program, the way it's run, and then you want to finish up, and then succeed to your next goals, as well as my other workshop is about so resume workshop. That was fun too, learning about how to write the resume, and that's sort of in a LinkedIn. But I did have I they do enjoy the workshops, as well as them, just me talking about them. And I did have some new returners and then old returners. I mean, excuse me, new students and then old returners. So they know that they're every day, every 6 weeks, you learn something new for sure. So me holding them up, my employer really enjoyed me explaining how I gave my presentations. I'm very interactive with it. So using my hands and explaining things, maybe sometimes, explaining, it's okay to, be shy in front of employer, because I myself, I even say I am maybe sometimes shy too, and that's going to happen, and that's okay. But you need to realize that, these people are everyday people, and you want to make sure that, they know that you are trying to, make a better change for yourself, and you want to, help maybe the community, or maybe help out the company, and just letting them know like you're being a genuine person. Did I answer that question?
Yes, thank you.
Yes. Okay.
Thomas, you're on mute.
Oh, I know, Herbert. Okay, so let's talk about a little bit about yourself now. I've gotten a lot of good transitional skills that you have for your current position, but tell me about what kinds of leadership you are inspired to work for, and what kinds of leadership you basically cannot work with.
Sure. Okay, my leadership. Strength. I
Let me
can work with others for sure. I would say that's a leadership for sure. I can work with others. If you ask, I can do independent work as well. I can make sure the task is set on time. Just making sure provide me what you want me to do, and I can definitely do it, execute that task, as well as my weaknesses. Um, Maybe it could be, for right now, I would say, because during this pandemic, maybe working from home, I would say. I personally liked the work environment, and I like working in the office with everyone else. I feel that it's a way of like the energy that you provide in the office. It's it's this way of like working together. It's cohesive, and we want to make an impact on the veterans. So for sure that, I know, because unfortunately the veterans are overcoming a lot of obstacles, and personally when I see them, we have much more, you can build more rapport and have a stronger connection, so instead of over the phone. So that's probably one of my um, weaknesses in a way right now.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this. I see that you develop partnerships with nonprofits. Can you tell me a little bit about, what nonprofits did you develop relationships with?
Yeah.
How did you do that? How did you continue staying in contact with them, and what did you do with them? What did you do with these nonprofits that you developed relationships with?
Good thing. So the way we did that was between Angie and I, sending them emails, and for as long as, unfortunately sometimes their budget doesn't last very long, unfortunately, and then that ends up closing down. So But otherwise, we overcome those obstacles. So just connecting with them and being genuine with them. Just I know working with you guys as well, working with Path, just trying to know like we are we are we are not here to just not only academically to enrich the student and help them out, but at the same time help them out long term. If if I don't help the veteran out with them just in school, I mean, if I can help them out in school, that's great. But if I can't connect with them in helping them out, just connecting, getting home, let's just say housing maybe, or just even food, like I can't expect him to continue school. So in a way, Angie and I, we connect in that way of like, yes, that student needs to be serviced in housing. So then he can know that he has a warm place of shelter. So even just talking to our partners about that, like saying, sometimes if a student is struggling through school, and not just only struggling academically, but from the personal life of like, okay, he's struggling, he or she is maybe struggling because she doesn't have a place to stay maybe, or they don't have food, like that is really important. So just explaining those things overall, because it's in a holistic approach, it may look like that, and it is true. So you want to make sure that, I mean, we as a program, we advocate for our students to connect with the other the community partners. So then we all connect, together, especially from whether it be from ELAC or whether it be from Rio Hondo. Just showing what the things we have in our program, but at the same time too, the other side is also helping out their their student as well too, because they are in that program as well. So making sure that they know what to do, making sure that they're not, hopefully not, maybe if they could possibly double dip, that's good, that's great, and if they can't, then that's okay, then maybe we need to go around the other way. So just connecting with each other and building rapport within each other as a community partner, and understanding where we want this student to go. So that's super important, just connecting with each other, and on that too, on that level.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thomas, did you have another question?
Yes, of course. So Miss Jacqueline, so you talked about how much contact you have with individuals. You talked about what leaderships you could work with, what leaderships you can work with. You've talked about what connections you made with organizations. What do you feel the veteran is missing when it comes to help with organizations, and what organizations have you reached out to?
Sure. Let's see. Mm, that's a really good one. I would say probably maybe emailing. I would say sometimes emailing is not sometimes effective. Um, sometimes it could be, and others, and they enjoy emailing, and they're like, yeah, I can totally email, that's great. And then there's others that don't prefer that. So understanding those differences of who you can actually have like pretty much hold accountable, and like, yeah, they're going to answer the email, they're going to read it, and then probably no later than probably tomorrow I'll get an email back, or maybe I got to call that student, or just in general maybe call that community partner, maybe, because that's what I need to who I need to connect with. So I know that everyone's super busy, and I respect everyone's time. So for sure, if you let me know like, hey, like I prefer a call before an email, then I'll do that. Or if I prefer a voicemail and then I'll get back to you. It's your preference. I'll definitely do that. So just having that common ground and understanding together, and just under to know like how you want me to help you, and then I can definitely do that.
And tell me about the community partners that you have connections with.
Yeah, sure. Like naming them, or just in like.
Just the organizations that you have actual connections with. Just
Sure.
name the organization.
That's one is JVS. Currently right now is let's see, it would be Path, as well as Goodwill. Um, let's see another one. Let's see, the Women's on Point. So that's like that's the Veterans Affairs, as well as let's see, um, let's see, Calvet. We work with them very closely. If we have any questions, we can definitely ask them. as well as Cal State LA, working with David Fierro for the, and let's see, the vet center, as well as with them too, because mental health is super important. Let's see, um, the vet center. Oh, the pretty Wednesday the VA medical, but no. But yeah, the even just the the um, BA Medical, just asking them questions, especially the one that's right across the street from us, working closely together and just asking them questions about just what's in general of how the estimate weight maybe, or like, hey, can I help? Can I have a student if like their situations may be different? Just asking them those questions, and we can definitely get an answer back. So which is cool. That's great. Um, so mhm. Those are
Okay.
the ones that I work with.
Okay. Thank you. Herb?
Mhm.
Jackie, let me ask you a question. Let's imagine you had a United States veteran in front of you, and
Mhm.
let's imagine they're a middle-aged person, and let's imagine they don't really know what you're sitting down with them, you're talking to them, and they don't know what they want to do with their lives, really. They're not giving you clear answers.
Yeah. Okay.
It's easier when they tell you, I
Yeah.
got a degree in engineering and I've been an engineer for 5 years and I want to be an engineer. That's easy.
Yeah.
What happens if you have somebody that doesn't know what they want to do with their life? What would you do in that situation?
Yeah, sure thing. So I'm pretty inquisitive. I like to question, especially if students or the client is a little, like, I don't really know, but I ask them like, well, when you were younger, what did you see yourself? Where did you what did you want to be? Um, and it could be just to even being a teacher or even being simple like a mentor maybe. It could be anything. Um, and then just honing down on that, like remembering the past of like, oh yeah, like I remember I wanted to be this maybe and I didn't even get a chance to try it out. um so just learning about what you wanted to be when you were younger, and then maybe progressing to where asking more questions about like what were those reasons you wanted to be that, to those things that made you happy. Just asking them those questions and really genuinely getting to know them, so then they can feel more comfortable in the fact that like, yeah, this is actually what I want to do. I myself, like, oh, this person's really investing in asking me these questions, so they want me to succeed to the next step. So I just asking them those questions and honing it down for them in a way of like, this is your life and you want to make something of it, even if you're already maybe in your 60s maybe, or you're retired. Like, you have so much to give, you have so much wisdom in you that you could actually end up sharing that with everyone in the world, or even just in the community, which would be very helpful.
Okay, thank you.
Hmm.
Okay, Miss Jacqueline. So we talked about all that good stuff. I like it. Tell me, I'm gonna read off some skills to you, and you tell me how good or how where you scale in the level. Okay, so for instance, I'm gonna say Microsoft Office, and you tell me one being that you're excellent, two average, or three that you need help with it. Okay,
Okay.
do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, so the first skill is gonna be, of course, Microsoft Word.
Sure thing. Excellent.
So one, two, or three.
Okay.
One being excellent.
Gotcha. Okay, thanks. So that'd be a one.
Okay, case noting.
That would be a one.
Excellent. Administration skills.
That would be a two.
Time management.
That would be a one.
Workshop leading.
A one.
Public speaking.
That would be one.
Okay, so one of the skills that you think you need to improve on is administration. Can you tell me a little bit on why you think you need to improve on that?
Yeah. Just overall, only because sometimes only Angie and I are the only two. So these are the case files can accumulate, but otherwise making sure that I organize myself, giving myself time, just executing, because not just only do I just work with the case files, and I'm also working with students. So I need to make sure I make time for the student, at the same time making time to finish the files and complete them. And usually I do. Just sometimes days it gets a little crazy only because we have maybe events or maybe meeting new community partners that just come on in and they hear about us and they're interested about us and they've heard us from probably on the west side but never physically seen us in the office. So just seeing new students and new people, which is great. So yeah, just I would say the administration part. Mm-hmm.
And to add to that, Miss Jackie, what's more important to you, completing a task on time with a few errors or completing a task perfectly with a little late? What's more important?
I would say the second one.
Completing a little late, but with no errors?
No errors, yeah.
Excellent. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Jackie, we've asked you a lot of questions about your job. If you had to sum up why you are the person that should be chosen, why should Jackie be chosen for this position?
Sure. Why should I be? It's the fact that I'm honing in on a skill right now of just learning how to help out a veteran. I've learned that in the academic part of how to help veterans pursue higher education or a reservist, and then learning about the career part. I don't get to hone down on that part only solely because I've only seen bits and parts of it, and Thomas has sent me flyers, and I'm always curious of how one connects with the others of trying to have a, a veteran work for that company maybe, and just it's an interesting field overall. So I know that I can definitely take the task if you had me, if I got this job. I can definitely show you that I can develop and grow, and I have no problem of adjusting or adapting to anything that you want me to do. So I would definitely, if I could get this job, I would definitely show you those skills and those that execution that I can definitely show you that I have.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Thomas, do you have any questions? You're on mute.
I think we're good, Herb. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Miss Jacqueline Flores, do you have any questions for us?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Okay. So, what is a typical day like?
So Herbert, if you let me answer that, I'd appreciate it.
Go ahead.
So a typical day for a career coach, Miss Jacqueline, is of course you'd be assigned a caseload of, let's say, anywhere from 25 to 50 veterans. And a typical day would be you would be calling veterans, making sure they're on their path to employment. So that means either helping them with their resume, helping them with whatever they need to be transferred over to Mr. Herbert Tao, which is the BSR.
Mhm.
So by the time the veteran leaves your hands, he has to have a clean resume, has to know what his goal is. He has to know interview skills. He has to be able to basically, Mr. Herbert should be able to take this veteran, give him to a company, and this veteran should be successful. So your job is incredibly important. You're like the main cog in the machine. You are the one that makes sure this veteran is up to snuff and ready to go. Okay. And as a career coach, your main goal is to make sure that they understand that sometimes you have to manage expectations. So, for instance, I understand your, when you said, well, if a 60-year-old has a lot of wisdom, that's true. But you also have to be able to probe enough to know if they need a job now
Mhm.
or if they're looking for a career.
Okay.
So if they need a job now, you have to be able to tell them, okay, this is what we have now that is hiring now, and have them all squared away and together to
Mhm.
hand over to Mr. Herbert Tao. Okay.
Okay.
And then Mr. Herbert then gives them job leads and puts them in for interviews, and then hopefully the veteran gets a job.
Gotcha. Okay.
So there's a lot of communication with calls, a lot of communication with emails, a lot of communication in person.
Sounds good.
Herbert, did I miss anything?
No, I think you hit every major thing. I think you hit on every major thing on the job. I would say, if I had to add anything to it,
Mhm.
to the job, I mean, a key part of this job, and we talked about this at the beginning,
Mhm.
is that as far as I'm concerned, the career coaches probably have the most important job in the organization because you're meeting with them first.
Yeah.
And what you conclude about this meeting is going to characterize how we're going to work with this person. So if you get it wrong, it's going to have an effect. You really need to be able to read this person well. And if they don't really, you're going to, I mean, if you've done this, a lot of people either don't know what they want, or they're not clear, or they're thinking short term instead of long term. Yeah, I'll take a job that pays 50 cents more because I want 50 cents more, rather than, hey, wait a second, that other job pays you $17, not $17.50, but it gets you the experience that you is in the field you said you were interested in, and therefore 3 years from today you may have a whole nother career at a better company, making a whole lot more money, maybe with a pension if you're with the government. You know what I'm saying? If you think, so you got to guide them to think. You got to help them, guide them to think, not just short term but long term. So you've got to really read them well, and you're giving them advice, and you got to be good at that. And Thomas, went through the job, but that would be my addition. It's such an important role that whoever does this job, and they should be aware of that.
Gotcha. Yeah, of course. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Any other questions, Ms. Flores?
Yeah. So what do you see as the most challenging aspect of this job?
Well, I'll start and then Mr. Herbert can add to it. So the most challenging aspect is to make sure the veteran takes the steps he needs in order to be ready. So when you first meet the veteran, he'll be like, oh, I'm ready for a job. But then when you look at the resume, it's 6 pages long and it says nothing. Or they tell me they're good at interviews, and then I just ask them some basic generic questions, and they're not good. So you need to be able to make sure that they understand that you're there to coach them and to make them better, because some individuals take it very personally when you give them constructive criticism, especially if an individual has no rapport with you, or doesn't respect you, or doesn't believe that you know what you're talking about. So that is probably the most challenging part. Mr. Herbert, anything?
Again, I agree with everything Thomas said. The only thing I would add, believe it or not, something that I would add about this job is documentation. This job, we are audited by the county, so you got to be clear on what you're documenting, how you're documenting, and also you're going to read those notes. Other people are going to read that notes. If people are writing in abbreviations and you're not there, you got to make sure that anyone who reads it really understands the situation.
Yeah.
You don't want to make that client once again tell the story that he's already told, right? We want to make sure that once he's told it to you, you understand it, I understand it, Thomas understands it, anybody else who reads it. So documenting thoroughly, completely, accurately, clearly, in standard English, not abbreviations, is super important in this job. And it seems like a small thing, but actually it's a big thing. And again, like the auditors come in, you want to be able to show them, wait a second, you were supposed to do A, B, C, and D, and you clearly did A, B, C, and D, because there it is written. And it's an important part of the job.
Definitely. Couldn't agree with you more.
Any other questions, Miss Jackie?
Yes. Okay. What do you think are the most important qualities for someone to excel in this job?
Time management. Time management and the ability to case note, the ability to take information in and write it down. The one other thing that you have to be good at is memorizing what codes do what. So CalJobs is the system that we use, and it runs on codes, basically. They're called activity codes. So you have to memorize what codes open what and what they do, and case note why you're opening the code for the county to understand. Mr. Herbert?
Once again, Thomas got it right. The only thing I would add is I would say you really need to have a natural sense of empathy. It's easy. You're seeing so many people, and it's easy to just, and this is another name, another person. What time is my lunch? When do I get out of here? It's easy for it to just become a job, and you're actually doing it really, really. You're helping change people's lives, and for you to truly help, because the way I approach this job is I don't want to get them a job. I want to get them I want to get them a good job. I want to get them the best job this person is. And for you to do that, to get them the best job for them, you really got to listen to them, and you really got to be empathetic to their situation. It's a key part of this job. And I see you've been doing this since April 2019. So hopefully you have that. But I would say that's what I would have.
Definitely. Yeah.
Thank you, Herbert. Any other questions, Miss Flores?
Yes. Do you have any questions for me at all?
I think we covered everything, Mr. Herbert.
Okay.
I think we did.
Yeah. Okay. And then the another question would be, what are the next steps in the interview process?
So Mr. Herbert and I are gonna debrief. We're gonna talk about it, and then from there we're gonna either we're gonna send you an email, and there's another interview that you have to take with managers. At that point, if you get sent to the manager interview, then at that point we will let you know if you're a selectee or not.
Okay. Right on the spot then?
I'm sorry?
Right on the spot in the very same video? I mean,
No.
oh, just wait.
Yes, we will definitely contact you later. There's so many applicants.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes. Mr. Herbert, anything to add?
No, that's right. Well, we're reaching out to people, and we'll reach out to you if we want to move to the next step.
Definitely. All right. That'd be great. Awesome. Thank you.
Any other questions, Ms. Jacqueline?
It was very nice meeting you.
Yeah, it was you too. Thank you, Herbert. I appreciate it. Thank you, Thomas.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day.
You too. Thank you.